Today is a big day for Saronic. You're out there in Louisiana, and it's the start of formal construction of your 150-foot Marauder. It's your larger autonomous surface vessel. How important is today for you?
I can't tell you. It's not just important for Saronic. It's important for the state of Louisiana, the entire Gulf Coast, and the entire country for what we're building here. Before I jump into all that, I'm going to take a step back. We started this company 3 years ago to redefine maritime superiority for the U.S. and our allies around the world. Our very first platform was a 6-foot autonomous mini jet ski. In under 3 years, we've gone from 6 feet to 150 feet. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but we're not starting construction. This is important as well. We're actually laying the keel, which is the center line of the ship. We're already part of the way through construction. We started this ship design 4 months ago when we acquired this shipyard in Louisiana, and we're going to have it in the water before the end of the year.
Wow.
This is going to be the fastest ship built in the United States of America since World War II.
Let's talk about that speed, that rapid manufacturing that is so needed, because you don't just have the 6-foot spyglass, you've got a 40-foot Cutlass, a 24 Corsair, we're thinking about 40-foot Mirage and Cypher, and then there's a 150-foot Marauder. Why does dominance need rapid scale and manufacturing here?
Well, scale is what matters. When we started this company, the very fundamental principle that we started it with was, if we can't build hundreds or thousands of whatever it is that we're building, then we're not going to build it in the first place. Let's talk a little bit about the discrepancy that we have with the Chinese. When we look at our primary adversary in the South Pacific, and really in the world today, when we talk about not just militarily, but economically as well. What has happened in the United States in terms of shipbuilding and what has happened in China is completely bifurcated, right? You go back to World War II, we built 18,000 ships, or over 18,000 ships at the peak. Last year, we built 8 or 9 naval vessels, and we have a plan to retire 19 over the next 12 months. China, on the other hand, over the last 25 years, has invested so heavily in their shipbuilding industry. They went from 5% of global shipbuilding capacity to over 50%.
Right.
They delivered 972 commercial ships in 2023. The United States delivered 7. So if you're looking... Go.
So you want to go, what, to deliver 50 unmanned vessels, ships per year as it stands, just in this one Louisiana site?
That's correct. We're sitting in the Louisiana shipyard right now in Franklin, Louisiana. That is 100 acres. We're going to invest $500 million to $1 billion in this site alone. We're going to build up the entire 100 acres, and we're going to have the capacity to build 50 ships per year. We're going to rebuild the workforce, training, production facilities, everything that's needed to do that. And then on top of that, we're looking at a secondary site called Port Alpha that'll be 10 times larger than this site in Franklin. We're talking about 1,000 acres, a mile of coastline, a multi-billion-dollar investment over the next 5 to 10 years to rebuild the foundation of American shipbuilding and create what is literally going to be the most advanced shipyard anywhere in the world, all centered around maritime autonomy.
VCs, of what you used to actually be one, have rushed to get in to help with this manufacturing, but the government is also backing it. Has there been a change of pace under the new administration?
There has been, and I'll tell you, you mentioned earlier, I was in the SEAL teams for 11 years. My last 5 years were spent on SEAL Team 6. That was from 2004 to 2015. I say that to say this. This is the fastest that I've seen the military and the government move to adopt anything in my life. Now, that is extremely encouraging from a business and an operational perspective, but it should also be concerning when we think about why is that happening, right? The potential threat with China in the South Pacific. We need to move, and we need to move now. And that's why we're operating so quickly here at Saronic. We're investing private capital to build the technology that our warfighters need and get those solutions in their hands as fast as possible.
What else do you need, Dino? You talked about how you're building the infrastructure and the talent, but what is it that keeps you up at night, that stops and holds you back?
When we think about what we need, I break it down to talent, customer, capital. If you bring those three things together, there's magic that is happening here at Saronic. What I mean by that is we have a truly world-class team. Our co-founders come from phenomenal companies with phenomenal backgrounds. We have over 800 employees now across the country and actually across the world. We've opened locations in Australia and the UK as well. Capital, we have some of the world's largest and best investors, 8VC, Andreessen Horowitz, and the list goes on. We're very fortunate to have those backers. We've raised over $1 billion in private capital.
Has that surprised you, just to jump in, Dino? Has that surprised you that almost it was an about face, or if not, a key acceleration coming from the venture part of the ecosystem?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at what happened in the venture community since, call it 2017, even if you go back to the 2000s, you had Palantir and SpaceX. They were really the first two companies that said, we're going to get started and we're going to build technology for the government. We're going to sell into the government. You got a 15-year, 17-year gap before Anduril started in 2017. And they really started to pave the way for this new defense tech movement. But it is still very, very early days. And it's going to take a coalition of companies, private capital, companies, and again, the customer, the Navy, supporting these efforts. And not just the Navy, if you're talking military-wide. And that's where, I mean, in our case, the Navy's really come along for this journey. They've been a partner with us since day one, pushing the limits, pushing to adopt this new technology. And when you have a world-class team, you have investors that want to provide capital to build what this country needs, and you have a customer in the Navy or the military that's looking to move fast and adopt new technologies, not because we want to, but because we have to.
Have they signed, though, Dino? Because there's a lot of talk. Is there enough walk from the government?
We're seeing, right? We are seeing the support from the government. They're pushing in different areas. As you mentioned earlier, the new administration has really accelerated things, right? They're doing things that are big, bold, and ambitious and want to change the future trajectory of the Department of Defense and really the country. So we're seeing that happen right now as we speak, and we're partnering with them to make that a reality.
How many commitments have you got for your vessels, whether it be US and allies?
So what we focus on is production capacity, right? How do we build vessels at scale, right? Right now in Austin, we have over 500,000 square feet of manufacturing space. We have the capacity to build 500 of our smaller vessels every single year. We're ramping that up to 2,000 and then 4,000, right? In fact, our 100th boat just came off the production line.
And the orders are there? Do you know the orders are there?
So I'm not going to comment specifically on contracts and what we're delivering to the government for obvious reasons, but we are building our boats at scale, and we're building them at scale now.
And you've got commercial customers as well. Just to round things out, how big a sector could that be in terms of demand?
I mean, that we look at the commercial sector as absolutely critical. I mean, $100 billion plus commercial maritime market. And here's the thing that I point out to people when you're focusing on defense. It's you need a strong commercial industry to have a strong defense industry. We build all of our products for dual use, defense and commercial. What that lets us do is diversify our revenue base, invest more dollars into R&D to build better solutions for the government, build robust and reliable supply chains that can scale, take advantage of economies of scale. Like, you have to build for commercial use cases as well. The days of building one-off bespoke solutions for the government are just over. We need to be building ships by the hundreds and boats by the thousands. And that's what we're doing at Saronic.
And you've been able to make your supply chain work to fit that at the moment, because with tariffs coming in and it changing of the rules around metals and supplies, how has that been for you to navigate?
We spend a lot of time on supply chain. We have 24 people that focus on nothing but supply chain. But here's the beauty of what we've been able to do at Saronic. We're completely vertically integrated from start to finish. When I say we're building our own boats and ships, we're building our own boats and ships, right? We're contracting the aluminum and the fiberglass. We're bringing in every single component that is integrated onto our platforms. We're doing final assembly. And we have the capital and the team to bring things in-house when we find bottlenecks in that supply chain. That's very rare and very unique, and a very, very strong differentiator when you talk about what it takes to actually get to scale.